also can be tapped by the government. There are journalists who are consistently been critical of the government. Their phones have been verifiably tested to be infested with the virus. Who has the mens rea? I ask this as a common sense question. Who would do it? It's not that surveillance has not been done before. For the first time, you are using a foreign company's instrumentality, and instead of protecting the rights of citizens, you are saying it's all rubbish. Thirdly, conspiracy. Now, this conspiracy theory, I think the BJP is outdoing Mrs. Gandhi's famous conspiracy line, that Mrs. Indira Gandhi's, that everything is a CIA conspiracy or a KGB conspiracy. I mean, you tell me, among the countries which have used Pegasus, since governments alone can use the software, you have Rwanda, you have Azerbaijan, you have Kazakhstan, you have Morocco. What interest does Rwanda have in the doings of Mr. Kumaraswamy's personal secretary in Karnataka? What kind of conspiracy is this? Which other government would do it? Secondly, I admit, we will come to Amnesty International in a moment, but the 16 media organizations, Rahul, you are a journalist yourself. I mean, The Guardian, The Washington Post, Le Monde, are they interested in a conspiracy against India, or are they releasing information in the public realm in the interests of citizens and their rights to privacy? Fourthly, there is the illegality of it. Surveillance is all right, but hacking a phone is not permissible under any provision of the law, even if procedures are followed. It's a kind of intrusive entry into a person's personal domain, which is as yet unprecedented. Who has signed the hacking order using Pegasus? That's the million-dollar question. The government can say we have had no hand in it. We will have to take the word for the government and interrogate it if we don't believe it. Or the government can say we did it, but if they did it, how can they hack a phone? They can put a phone under surveillance under due procedure. So therefore, I believe that this matter deserves a serious inquiry. Any responsible government will do it. The French government has ordered a probe. And to constantly say that those who are making this accusation are disruptors and subverters, I think is carrying the logic to a ridiculous extreme. Be more open about it. And be more protective of your own citizens.
Fair enough. Let me get the other side. GVR Narasimha Rao, also with us, National Spokesperson and Member of Parliament from the BJP. Yes, Mr. Narasimha Rao, you want to respond. 4 points Mr. Pavan Verma has raised: abdication, mens rea, who has the guilty mind, so to speak, the conspiracy to defame, which sounds, according to him, laughable, and of course, the illegality of hacking per se. How do you respond?
Rahul, I think on all 4 counts that Mr. Verma has mentioned, I think his arguments are as weak as this whole story of the Pegasus. It's very weak because this is not, you see, if you put out some kind of a fictitious story in the media and you expect government to give up its priority focus on the issues that concern this nation, you want to block parliament, you want to create a political narrative to suit your narrow political interest and not national interest. We have still not done with the second wave. We are looking at a possible third wave. India is preparing for it. And you want India to abdicate its real responsibilities and to take on what Pavan Verma considers to be a national priority. It is certainly, you cannot expect government to stop its real priorities, real issues that concern people, and get busy with fake narratives. Point number 1. Point number 2, so-called mens rea. So I'm asking you, there are, as Verma himself, Mr. Verma mentions, there are list of ministers and ministers' associates mentioned in this. And government doesn't have to take recourse to all this. If Prime Minister does not have confidence in some minister, we are not like Sonia Gandhi, who would snoop on Pranab Mukherjee, who was a minister in her own government. And possibly she was siding with Chidambaram and snooping on Pranab Mukherjee. And Mahesh ji mentioned about the snooping in Rajasthan. Only a few days ago, over the last year, we have seen how Congress leaders, MLAs, particularly below closer to Sachin Pilot, how they have been snooped upon. The Congress is the Congress culture, and they cannot think of any better conspiracies than targeting the BJP with the same kind of fake conspiracies. And as regards real conspiracy, it is a conspiracy. You want to know everything that this government does to do real surveillance. Why are you so keen? Does the government, does it not have a national security priority? And why would you, like Rahul Gandhi wanted to know what all arms are fitted on Rafale so that he can possibly go on Twitter and announce it to the whole world? Why would the government, which does surveillance as a part of its national security duty, why would it reveal who are the people who are under surveillance? It will certainly not be the likes of Rahul Gandhi or the journalists. And thirdly, illegality. If there is anything illegal anyone thinks has happened, it doesn't have to be taken, the government doesn't have to act on its own. Individuals who consider they have been subjects of illegality, they can approach the courts and take recourse to legal action. So these on all four counts, Mr. Verma is doing a great disservice to this country. The people like Mr. Verma, Rahul Gandhi, they are wanting India to really get straight from its focus, and this is the conspiracy that we are talking about. And it happens so conveniently on the eve of Parliament session, which is to address many of these key issues and many legislations.
Well, there was a question that Mr. Verma raised. Why would all these platforms globally, Le Monde, etc., be part of a conspiracy? We'll come to that. We'll ask that question to Abhijit Iyer Mitra is there, but I want to go across to Mr. Deb, Mr. Biswadeep Deb, spokesperson of the TMC. Mr. Hegre is also there with us. Mr. Deb, the BJP comes back to the same point. Like in Rafale, where a large number of individuals approached, in fact, some of the leading lights of what is loosely described, and very particularly so, of course, by the Prime Minister's, the Khan Market gang, went up and said that there is A, B, C, D irregularity in the Rafale deal. We need it to be heard by the Supreme Court. Let's file a case, and duly you got a verdict. So, Mr. Deb, why doesn't the TMC, maybe other members, maybe all of you, approach the courts or perhaps even file a case in the Parliament Street police station and say that you fear that the second most senior leader in the TMC has been hacked and spied upon? It's a very clear case to be made out, sir. Why don't you do it?
I will reply to your question, Rahul, but first of all, let me categorically mention that what exactly Amnesty International had said yesterday, that is Thursday afternoon, in a statement. First, let me read out that particular portion. I will not take too much of time. Just let me read it out. In a sharp worded official statement issued on Thursday afternoon, in response to what it said were false allegations on social media and inaccurate media stories in relation to the Pegasus project, Amnesty International said that Amnesty International categorically stands by the finding of the Pegasus project and that the data is irrefutably linked to potential targets of NSO groups, Pegasus, soft spyware. The false rumors being pushed on social media are intended to distract from the widespread unlawful targeting of journalists, activities, and others that the Pegasus project has revealed. So the question of any suspicion being raised, so far as the allegations are concerned, does not arise. That is my first reply. The software was definitely purchased by the government of India. The government of India had used this software this spyware on their potential targets. But the most sad part of the entire story is that a foreign company, Israeli company, that is the NSO group, had been used to hack the phone numbers of the targeted people here in India. And the privacy of our people, the privacy of our citizens had been compromised. So this is very much unacceptable. That is first. Secondly, our leader, Mamata Banerjee, had repeatedly on earlier occasion, that is in 2020, and thereafter during the elections, had specifically mentioned that their phones, the phones of the Chief Minister, the phone of Abhishek Banerjee, the Honorable MP, the phone of Prashant Kishore was under surveillance. And that was a specific allegation which the BJP did not deny and neither the government denied. So, this particular spyware which has been used now is not only an allegation now, it is something which the government should come up clean. And it is for the government to say that, well, we are clean, and that is why we have ourselves ordered for an independent inquiry, and we have decided that the matter will be inquired into, because you see, lawful surveillance in the national interest requires some procedure to be followed. The competent authority, as you know, is the Home Secretary, and the matter has to be placed before the review committee headed by the Cabinet Secretary. So whether that has been done and whose phones were tapped and hacked, that should be revealed by that particular inquiry, which we are repeatedly demanding. And All India Trinamool Congress had been demanding this inquiry and discussion and debate on this particular issue, both in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. But the government had denied that particular option. The government repeatedly refused to discuss on this particular issue. And today our MP had been suspended just to protest against the statement made by the minister in the floor of the House, which is absolutely a false statement which he was giving. And that is why our MP, he protested.
Okay.
And due to that protest, he was suspended. I would like to say, why was Hardeep Singh Puri, who tried to assault the MP from Trinamool Congress.
So slightly different issue. Let's get back to the Pegasus Spygate. You know, the fallout of it is not our concern. What happened in Parliament. Let's get back to the issue.
After all, these issues are coming up due to this particular issue. It's a very serious issue, and the government should take all initiative. It's not that you just brush aside the entire allegations and say that you go ahead and go to the police station and file an FIR. It's not simple as that. It is not as simple as that. It's a very
It's not as simple as that, says the TMC.
A thorough probe.
Sir, on the point...
It requires a thorough probe.
Okay. Before I bring in... Okay, thorough probe. 1 second. Before I bring in Mr. Hegde and Mr. Iyer, just want to make...
I'll take
Mr. Dev, just want to point out... Yeah, just on record, I just want to point out one small thing to you, Mr. Dev. You read out a statement by Amnesty that was released in the afternoon yesterday. In the context of what was suggested, what was circulated in Israel, picked up by Israeli media, including one of the papers, part of the consortium that was reporting this story. So let me make that very clear. Number two, sir, most importantly, nowhere in this statement is it mentioned that they contradict the statement that has been put out by the Israel chapter of Amnesty International. You read that entire statement out? It's not written. The fact is, sir,
have read it out,
that Amnesty Israel chapter... No, sir, please show me where they have said in superannuation of...
I would like to...
No, 1 second, sir, please. I don't want to get into a sparring match, please. That was not the idea. I'm just bringing on record a fact which is borne out by their own statement. It's not disputable because the statement is about 2 paragraphs long and you read it. So there is no mention of the Israeli statement there. And when we spoke to the Israeli spokesperson of Amnesty, not once but twice, the first time he said, I stand by everything I have said. Secondly, when we asked him about the Amnesty statement, he says, please ask, and this was much later, after Amnesty International released their statement. He said, I don't want to talk about this. Speak to X and Y in Amnesty headquarters. He did not deny, he did not retract, he did not accuse us of fabrication, he did not accuse 22 papers in Israel who have carried that statement. Excuse me, sir, I did some research. 22 national newspapers in Israel have carried the Amnesty spokespersons of Israel chapter statement in letter and spirit. So let me put it out there that I understand that there is going to be an attempt to downplay one fact, but that's okay. It's okay.
Maybe the group in Israel,
it's okay.
But you see,
it's okay.
It's a serious issue which involves the privacy
but what do you mean,
citizens. It involves the privacy of the citizens.
Secondly, sir,
of course,
I want to bring in Mr. Mishra.
Your phone is hacked.
No, I want to bring in Mr. Abhijit Iyer Mitra and also Mr. Hegre. Okay, sir, please let's keep this above board a little bit. I just want to bring in Mr. Mitra. Mr. Mitra, the assumption here is that phones have been tapped and hacked. And this is what Amnesty International has said. And let me just bring everyone's attention to the facts that have been stated by Amnesty. I don't regard them as that, but nonetheless. They have said, and this is very important, viewers, that you understand, because there is a distinction that is being drawn in these articles continuously. Thousands, quote unquote, thousands of iPhones potentially compromised. And even the TMC spokesperson here is saying the government should let us know who has been tapped. Well, if you go by the consortium, they all know who's been tapped. Yet, there is a caveat which says potentially tapped. Now, what does this mean? How does this fit in with the larger narrative? And does this in any way weaken the argument that is being made by this consortium? Mr. Mitra.
So, look, it's very easy to answer this question if we just look at the 3 criteria that Ambassador Pavan Verma put out some time back. Motive, mens rea, and then actus reus, right? So the first thing is the data is completely inconsistent. We apparently
Anil Ambani's phone was tapped. Apparently Ashwini Vaishnav's phone was tapped. And also it was Justice Gogoi's alleged victim that was tapped, right? There is no consistency in any of these, number one. Number two, why are we being presented with a very selected slice of the data? Because in order to push a narrative, you have to give the impression that it was only government opponents who were targeted. You now know just 40 names out of this entire list, out of 300 apparent targets in India. Why are we not being told the remaining 260 names? Because they want you to play off a specific data sampling error. And this is a classic case of, doctoring the data to fit the narrative, right? Then you have the issue of, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly. Go ahead. We can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead. Abhijit, go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Yes, we can. Go ahead, please. Okay, have we lost him? Nizam bhai? Is there a possibility that we might have lost him? Okay, let me go across to Mr. Hegre. Mr. Hegre, lots of gaps, Mr. Hegre. That is what Abhijit and others from the BJP fold are suggesting to you. How is this even something that can be taken seriously and investigated? Mr. Hegre.
It's India's choice whether to take it seriously and or not to take it seriously. The real story is outside India. The story is basically that governments all over the world have been buying this spyware from this Israeli company, saying that we will use it for terrorism, for counterterrorism and purposes of saving human life. And they have essentially been using it against human rights defenders and opponents of the government. Like 2 phones of women close to Adnan Khashoggi in Saudi Arabia, they were also infected by Pegasus. Pegasus has been used against the phone of French President Macron, against Imran Khan, against a whole host of individuals all over the world. And Snowden had it right when he said, today you have a list of about 50,000 people. If you leave it out of control, there will be 5 million, and it will be the end of privacy as we know it. It will also be the end of democracy. Irrespective of whether or not India chooses to check its Pegasus infections, the world has got up and the world is taking notice. Because if I were to use an analogy, whether it's Pegasus or COVID infections, it's the same thing. What happens in one country affects every other country. The virus may have started in China, but then it went all over the world. Here also, there was this particular spyware which starts off in Israel, which goes in wherever Netanyahu goes, and it is sold to a whole host of countries, including Saudi Arabia, UAE, Azerbaijan, Morocco, and all these governments solemnly file an undertaking with the company. No, we are not going to use it for domestic purposes. Now, what anti-terrorism purposes were served by letting the phones of Mr. Devegowda's security man be infested, or the phones of the lady who accused of the family members of the lady who accused Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi. Somebody spoke about Rafale and all that. At the same point of time that the Rafale judgment, the matter was being heard, you spoke about the Khan Market gang. At that same point of time, there was also the series of events leading to the allegation. And at that same point of time, if Pegasus was being used. Information is power. What kind of information was derived by use of Pegasus in an unauthorized manner, and who benefited? Pawan Verma spoke about mens rea. The correct Latin word is not mens rea. It's cui bono. Who benefits? Now, who benefits if a government in Karnataka falls because you have information as to who is talking to whom? Who benefits if during the hearing of a particularly sensitive matter in the Supreme Court, one of the judges has personal problems and you find out more about the accuser? GVL Narasimha Rao spoke about distracting from COVID. Now tell me, who benefited from going after Gagandeep Kang, the virologist, who says, I only studied diarrhea and how viruses work? Did you use...
But Mr. Bhegre, where is the proof that these people have been tapped? Where are the lists in public?
Let me complete.
Have you seen the list?
There is a list of 300 people, of which one of the names is that of Alok Verma. It is out there. Alok Verma's phone was tapped.
Can I see
Alok Verma was a client of mine, and when you tapped his phone, you breached my privacy also. You breached
But Mr. Hegde, where is this list?
Rahul, if you don't
this
want
is a
to
list
see
with
the list,
wings, like Pegasus, the horse.
If you don't want to see
Where
the
is
list
the
which has
physical
been
copy
put
of
out,
this list? Why hasn't it been put out?
It's a printout. If you want a printout, you take a printout. You have enough of a research department. Don't try to derail me. Now the other fact is that the question really is, where do we go from here? What is undoubtedly clear is India bought Pegasus, India used Pegasus. Let's keep aside the question of who all it used on.
do we authorize the use of Pegasus from here on by the Indian government?
Sir, you're not understanding the question I'm asking.
No, I
Where
am telling
is
you
this?
the questions that
Where
that
is
the
this
country
list?
should know.
Where did it come out of? Please understand what I'm trying to
No.
say. Where is it
That
been?
is
Which
irrelevant.
agency?
That is
Which company?
irrelevant.
Who had it? It is very relevant.
The question
Because if it is
is,
not
did
NSO,
India,
then you can't
did
link the
India
Indian
buy-
government.
Did India buy Pegasus? Who paid for it? Who authorized the use? And who
Sir,
authorized
it's like
the
the
use
white
on its
pages. I
citizens?
can print out a whole
That
number
is
of
the
names.
Question.
You know,
that is the
I
question.
remember, Mr. Hegde, you were on a show. Okay, but you were on a show with me, and I want to take your mind back to this. You might remember that a whole host of letters. And please listen to me, sir, please. And you questioned the origin and the source of these letters. A bunch of letters that were being written amongst the Bhima Koregaon alleged conspirators. If you remember that, there were 5 or 6 of them. Comrade this,
They
comrade
have
that, let's bump
actually
off
gone to
X, let's
court
do
and
this, let's
said
blow
that
up this.
Pegasus
No,
was
one second,
used-
sir.
No.
please.
Since you've talked about
Sir,
Bhima
please,
Koregaon.
listen to me.
No. Now you listen to me. No, Bhima Koregaon.
Can you allow
accused
me?
are in court.
I'm just. Can
The
you
accused
allow
have
me to
said that
finish my
Pegasus was
question,
used.
sir? Can you please?
No. Just a minute. Now,
Can
since
you-
you've stopped
can
us,
you allow me to
you
finish,
started
sir?
Bhima Koregaon. It's your show. You can always shut me down. Do you want to do that? You have
I'm not shutting you
asked
down.
about
I'm
Bhima
only
Koregaon.
I'm only asking for your permission to complete my question. At the very outset, sir, you said that these letters, which are performer letters typed out, and I can bring that clip out, were faked. The list could have been faked. Where do we
Absolutely.
know that the list has come out of a database of NSO?
No.
So where is
Bhima
it? How do we
Koregaon,
know?
the accused have moved an application in court saying that Pegasus was used to plant stuff on their computers. That is still there in court.
And we believe the accused.
Listen. Nobody believes what goes on in terms of propaganda. What people believe is steady work all over the world. If Macron
So we
changes
believe
his phone
propaganda
after Pegasus,
allegedly put out by the consortium, but not propaganda put out by the government. Now, this is a false equivalence in my reading. Very elementary
admit
reading.
that you do propaganda for the government.
I'm saying allegedly because you are saying it. You are saying
admit that
it.
you are
I'm
doing
not. I'm saying
propaganda for the
alleged
government.
propaganda by the government, sir. Come on.
Yeah,
You're
come
very
on.
smart.
You made it.
You're a very smart lawyer. You know the value of words, and I prefixed it with a word called alleged. So please, let's not
didn't
stretch
do
an
that the
argument
first
too
time.
far. All I'm saying is that yes, sir, you are. I did, of course. You are
Listen,
very convinced, sir,
Rahul,
that the
let me
truth
put my
is being
final
put out
position.
by
Let
the
me put my final
consortium,
position.
but no one is answering the basic question: Can we link? Can we link
basic
the list
question- the
to
basic question is
NSO
not in the
definitively? We can't.
The basic question is not in the
But
past.
that is the
basic
question.
question is the future.
Okay.
What do you propose to do? Will you allow continued Pegasus
What do we propose to do?
operation in India?
dialogue
What do you
only.
propose to do? Do you propose not to look at it? Do you propose to let it have a free run? No, you should not do that.
I'm agreed with you on that point. We should not do that. The question now arises, who should take the step? Should it be the government or should it be the opposition? I believe both of them, in the interests of developing a better democracy, should go to a relevant forum, like the courts perhaps, or the police, etc. I don't know. I'm not an expert. But we need to get to the bottom of this. And Abhijit Mitra Iyer, why are both sides recalcitrant about probing this? This is a fundamental question that I can't seem to understand.
Look, it's really very simple, because in the case of India, the government is so big, and most governments are so big, they never really know what the left hand of government is doing. The right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. So in the government's case, I can totally understand if somebody started this without the government actually knowing about it. But it's very important to understand out here that, there is too much conjecture that is being translated into as if it has become reality. You can't take conjecture and without ample evidence transform it into reality and then say, it's an outrage, democracy has finished in this country, it is becoming authoritarian, everybody is being surveilled. You can't have just 40 out of 300 names released in order to buttress that case. And finally, let's just use any of these criteria: mens rea, motive, actus reus, cui bono, that several of the lawyers brought up. All of these, mens rea, all of these 17 organizations have had an axe to grind with this government. There is mens rea for you. Motive, a lot of these people who are tweeting these stories are pathological liars. I know people that were making up stories left, right, and center, so their credibility is zero. You put them in interrogate them in a witness stand, they will get zero. Actus reus, they also have a long record of falsification. We were told Modi was guilty of the riots, acquitted by court. We were told Purohit was guilty and there was Hindu terror, clearly not. Sadi Pragya was guilty, apparently not. Rafale was a scam, we all know what the court said. Then we get into cui bono, who benefits? There is only one clear benefit in all of this that I can see, which is more website hits, more advertisements, more awards for the journalists involved, because this is, one of those self-referential cycles. Everybody will claim to be extremely relevant and the gold standard of journalism. This is how these journalism awards work. So by all of these standards that everybody is using against the government, the accusers also stand equally to have mens rea, actus reus, motive, and cui bono. Let's be absolutely clear about that. The final remark I will make is there is exactly zero evidence, and even on the basis of you are saying that these were servers in Cyprus, understand intelligence sharing is the gold standard of government to government relations. Okay, no government will allow domestic intelligence to be monitored and stored abroad by international agencies, because there are huge implications for that. Okay, especially India will not allow Israel, an Israeli company, to store Indian intelligence gathered out here and then stored in servers on Cyprus. That goes against every first principle of intelligence gathering and of data sharing, of intelligence sharing between governments like that. That in itself tells you, and by the way, how do you know it isn't the Saudi government or, some other NSO client surveilling? What proof do you have it was the actual Indian government? For all you know, it could be Airbus or Eurofighter snooping on Ambani to find out what happened in the Rafale case. So, there's just too much hera-fairy happening out here. This, that, castles in the air.
Okay, too much theory. So, Mr. Jethmalani, let me ask you straight.